family. Good morning. So, welcome to the replay followers if you're watching this on replay, and welcome if you are live. So this morning I am coming back for another edition of Devotional Wednesdays, and today we're going to talk about being better, brighter, and bolder. So, hi Mo. How are you doing? So I'm going to quickly share on my own page, I think if I can do that, from my computer. I'm going to see if I can do that. And then if you could, as you're coming in, if you could share with your followers as well. And so maybe I can't. Okay, let me see. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get started. Oh, cool. Sorry, guys. Periscope has done a lot of new stuff. Okay, let's not do that now while we're on there. Okay, so anywho, I'll go ahead and get started. So my name is Marilyn Desume. I am the founder and lead blogger at iWaitedBlog.com. This is a blog where I interview married couples who waited until marriage to be intimate as a way to encourage other young adults in their walk of purity and abstinence. And so I've started this kind of like Wednesday thing where I do short devotionals on Wednesday mornings, just speaking about things that God has put on my heart to talk about. And today I wanted to talk about Ruth. So I was reading the book of Ruth last week sometime, and I started reading, and in chapter 1, where it talked about Ruth married into Naomi's family. So she married one of Naomi's sons, and she was married to Naomi's son, it seems about 10 years. And then her husband, of course, died, and then her and Ruth and Orpah got up to leave to go back to Bethlehem because there was a famine in Moab. And so, of course, we know that Orpah, Naomi turned around and said, hey, you guys, go back to your family. There's nothing here. Well, I don't have anything, and I don't have any kids to give you, any more kids to bear to give you husbands. So go back to your family. Maybe you'll have a better chance at life. And so Orpah was like, well, okay, I guess you're right. She goes back home. Ruth was like, nope, your people are my people. Where you stay, I will stay. Where you live, I will live. Your God is my God, all that good stuff. And so Ruth continued on with Naomi. And while I was reading it, the thing I noticed was Ruth was married to her husband for 10 years. And then once she got to Bethlehem with Naomi, of course, Naomi, she goes into the fields to kind of start gathering to feed her and Naomi. So because they didn't have there's no husband. So back in the day when you didn't have a husband, you had no money, no home, no really like nothing if you didn't have a man in your life. And so Ruth took on the role of helping to feed both of them and provide for both of them and try to see what they could work out as two women with no husbands. And so Ruth ended up in Boaz's fields, and Boaz, kind of favored her and asked his sowers to kind of, hey, leave a little bit of extra for Ruth and her mother-in-law, because Ruth is doing something noble where she's taking care of her mother-in-law, even though she no longer has an obligation to her. And so Ruth, Naomi tells Ruth, hey, Boaz seems to favor you. So when he goes to sleep, pull a cover over over his legs onto your legs to show that you're interested. So when Boaz saw that, he was like, hey, if the other kinsman redeemer doesn't redeem you. So a kinsman redeemer is someone that when a husband dies in the family, there's another man in the family that can step up and say, hey, I'll marry you so that you can continue the bloodline of your husband. And so if you have any kids, that's the bloodline of your husband. And if you acquire any land or wealth, that will go into the bloodline of your husband. But the guy that was able to do that said, nah, I'm not willing to give up my inheritance. So you take her, Boaz. Go ahead. You can have her. So Boaz said, okay, I'm going to marry her. And the thing I found interesting, this is why I'm here, is because once Boaz married her, and it said Ruth and Boaz went in and did their thing, aka had sex, she got pregnant and she bore a child, Obed. So I was like, wait, Ruth was married to her husband for 10 whole years and she never had a baby. And as soon as her and Boaz get together, they have a baby. And I was like, we could be in situations that are purposeful, but may not be the ultimate purpose of God. So I truly believe that Ruth's marriage to her husband, her first husband, was purposeful in that it linked her to Naomi in a season where she needed to be linked to someone, especially from the people of Israel, from Bethlehem, because the Moab people were literally like the Moab people came about because I think it was Lot's daughters had sex with their dad because they thought like the human race was about to die off and they needed to just have kids before, so their bloodline could continue. Weird foolishness. And so the people of Moab came about. But they were considered like a cursed people because of the way that their lineage started. And so that's the people that Ruth comes from. So for her to marry into like the people of the lineage of the people of Israel was just a blessing for her. And so I found it interesting that Ruth remained faithful to the covenant that she made even after the death of her husband. Like, she had every right to say, all right, Naomi, I married your son, he died, now I'm about to go find me another husband in Moab, whatever. But she said, no, I'm going to stick with you because I know there's something here. There's a reason why I married your son. There's a reason why I entered into this covenant. So I'm going to remain faithful to this covenant and see where God takes this and see about who your God is. And God gave me 3 things that this shows. So number 1, it shows that when you step into a deeper level of covenant and when you step into another level of purpose, God makes it better. So better means also, of course, like a better quality. And so Ruth's first husband may have been a good quality man, but Boaz was a better quality. He was another level up. Like, she leveled up. Ruth leveled up in terms of her status in the community, her status in marriage, her status in life. And so she got a better quality in terms of a husband, a better quality of life, a better quality in the covenant that she made, a better quality in the purpose that her life now had. Because as we know, Ruth then had Obed, who then had Jesse. Jesse was David's father, and we know David was one of the top kings of the people of Israel. And then also David is in the lineage of Jesus. So God literally redeemed the bloodline of Ruth by allowing her to marry into a family that would put her in a position to be in the bloodline, the lineage of Jesus. That's awesome. The second thing, we saw that God makes it to where your future is brighter. So we know that brighter means it's like a shining thing. So the thing I thought about was old school cars. When you see like old school Mustangs, old school Chevys, those cars may have been like really bad back in the day, but when they're restored, when they're redone, it always seems to me like the paint shines a little brighter. Like when they put like the red paint on the old school cars, it just seems to be so shiny. And so even in that, God was saying to me in Isaiah 60, he says, arise, shine, for the glory of your God is shining on you. And he also says to let your light so shine that people may see and want to know about your God. So God gives us permission to shine. And in making Ruth's future brighter, he was giving her literally permission to shine and shine some more, like literally, because he was elevating her status in society. And And when God gives you that permission to shine, it's on us to take advantage of that. And it doesn't come from a place of arrogance. It doesn't come from a place of pride. It comes from a place of knowing that, hey, I have a God who wants to see me do great things, who wants to put me in a position to succeed, who wants to put me in a position to do amazing things in his name for his glory. Because I think we sometimes get it mixed up that it's for his glory, not for our glory. And it's always in his name. And so him giving her that brighter future just set her up for a different level of success. And then the third thing is, he allowed her to be bolder. And so bold means, like taking risks. So Ruth took a risk in what would seem like she propositioned Boaz. She took a risk in listening to Naomi tell her, hey, like, you need to position yourself to put yourself in a place where Boaz will see you, and he will maybe want to, because he's in line to redeem our bloodline. So, hey, maybe he'll redeem our bloodline through you. She took a risk in doing that, and that was a bold move. But that set Naomi up for a lifetime of blessings. And not just for her, but also for Naomi. And so in doing this, I think God orchestrated things so beautifully, where he allowed Naomi's family to escape Judah and Bethlehem and left there. And hi, as you're coming in, you can share it with your followers. And they left there, went to Moab. Naomi's sons meet Ruth and Orpah, get married, and they later on die, and they all have to leave again. But everything was so purposeful, because God needed that famine to happen for Ruth and her husband to leave, and then for them to meet Ruth, or for Naomi and her husband to leave, for Naomi and her husband's sons to meet Ruth and Orpah, get married, and then for them to then bring Ruth back to their place where they originally came from, in order to include Boaz in their lineage and bloodline and family tree. So I believe that God orchestrates so many things in our lives where it seems the beginning of that thing was a disaster, and people die, and situations blow up in your face, and it seems like God is really not listening, because I've been in those seasons where it seems like God is not listening. He doesn't care. And then I say, I don't care since you don't care. But God is working something awesome out in all of this. So yes, Ruth's first marriage was purposeful, but there was another level of glory and purpose in her second marriage to Boaz. And I really believe that God did something awesome, not only in Ruth, but in Naomi. Reignited her faith, reignited her belief in her God, reignited the fact that she knew that her God loved her and that her God saw her. And so today, if I could encourage you in anything, it's that, yes, the beginning of a thing, it may seem bad, it may have turned out bad, but I truly believe that in the latter part of our lives and in the latter part of certain situations, that God is going to show you that he's redeeming you, that he loves you, that he cares, that he cherishes you, that he hears you, and that whatever you're going through, listen, the back end of that thing is going to bless your life so much that you're not going to even remember the pain from the first part of it. And yeah, so that's all I got for y'all today. I'm always praying for people, so if you have any prayer requests, you can definitely email iWaitedBlog@gmail.com. Follow us on all social media platforms. It's iWaitedBlog across all Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, everything. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Talk to y'all soon. Bye. Peace.